Hey, what's up, YouTube, and welcome back to Morgellons discussion and microscopy videos. I'm your host, Jeremy Murphy, and today I want to talk about why people who try really hard to advocate for Morgellons fail, why they can't get anywhere with where they're going, and how to change that so that you can get people on your side. And to be clear, we're on the same side if you're advocating for Morgellons disease. I probably drink better coffee, though. So, ignorance is the number one reason why people fail in trying to advocate for Morgellons. Here's a simple test. Ask yourself, what is Morgellons? And write down your answer. Is it longer than one sentence? If it is, you need to learn more about Morgellons before you go advocate. The problem is there is so much misinformation and so much ego out there about controlling the narrative that honest efforts that utilize actual Morgellons science are often swept under the rug against the mountain of bullshit. And I'm talking about everything from people not knowing what Morgellons is, having a mistaken belief about what Morgellons is, to wanting to shut down your efforts to advocate about Morgellons because they want to be the voice of Morgellons. Morgellons is a skin condition associated with a bacterial infection. That's it. It's so easy to start from that point because people can understand that, and when they go check out the science, it backs it up. All the science that we have for literally the past 9 years says that Morgellons is a skin condition associated with a bacterial infection. When you start explaining that Lyme disease is almost no different than syphilis, then people can really start to grasp the concept of Morgellons disease. You tell people that syphilis causes skin conditions. Well, duh. I mean, most people understand that. You tell people that Lyme disease causes skin conditions, people think that Lyme disease is a mental illness from hypochondriacs. Literally. I mean, that's why you can't get any support for your Lyme disease in the community, is because so many people have taken Lyme disease and turned it into something it's not. It's a bioweapon, it's a fungus. It's everything. You know, a lot of people may have Lyme disease. Maybe even, let's say, well, you can't say everybody because, you know, in those live blood microscopies, they have a lot of control subjects that don't have Lyme disease. So, no, it's not possible that everybody has Lyme disease. But let's assume everybody in your community does because nobody's looking for it. That doesn't mean that everybody's going to get sick from it. And that's important to understand. And that's why you have a lot of these autoimmune conditions that end up being Lyme disease after people go see a different doctor who looks for it. In Lyme disease patients who were previously misdiagnosed with an autoimmune condition, the problem is Lyme disease attacked that specific part of their body. Maybe it was their joints, maybe their skin, maybe their mind. But in a lot of people, it doesn't attack anything. It just kind of lays there dormant. Until, you know, one day in their 60s, and then people start to suffer debilitation and severe illness. But Lyme disease and syphilis are no different than the oral spirochetes in your mouth, the Treponema denticola. Yeah, each of them have varying properties. I thought it was very interesting that Lyme disease will cause a false positive on a, I'm sorry, syphilis will cause a false positive on a Lyme disease test. Lyme disease will not often cause a false positive on a syphilis test. But Treponema denticola, which is the oral spirochetes that are attributed to cavities and periodontal disease, they don't cause a false positive on a Lyme disease test. And why is that? I don't know. There's a lot of research that needs to go into it. But people who do test positive for Lyme disease or tick-borne relapsing fever and are suffering debilitation from it, they shouldn't have to go on the vision quest of trying to get their condition legitimized just because people don't understand it. But the number one reason they fail is because they don't know how to explain it that way. Because they haven't taken the time to research it. People are lazy. Honestly, I'm lazy. I am lazy. Some days I don't want to do anything. And a lot of times it's just because I can't. Because I just don't have the energy. But you have to research. You have to understand what you're talking about before you can go out there and talk about it. You have to let people know how similar Lyme disease is to syphilis. You have to let people know that, yes, somebody who has syphilis can suffer Alzheimer's disease just as much as somebody who has Lyme disease. And you have to explain why. You have to explain why those biofilm plaques, those amyloids and tau's, why they're forming. Maybe you don't have to tell people every step of the process, but you have to give them an idea of the association that is based in science. If you can point somebody to a news article that's reporting on a peer-reviewed scientific research paper, that's going to strengthen your case. But if somebody says, Jeremy, what is Morgellons? And you have to stop and think, oh, it's a parasitic infestation with these fibers flying all over the environment. You have to keep everything clean, take 4 hot baths a day, and then send this guy all your money. If you have to go into all that bullshit, congratulations, you've already lost the war. That's it. Somebody has just taken what you said about Morgellons, and they've run with it and told everybody they know, oh, I finally experienced that Morgellons thing. Yeah, these people are crazy. Because when they go to look, they don't see any science that says that's true. They see science that says those are the people that are experiencing delusions of parasites. They mistakenly believe they have parasites because Morgellons is a skin condition associated with a bacterial infection. Really, in the science. Somebody may ask you, what is Morgellons? And they may say, oh, it's a disease that affects every organ in the body. You can feel the fibers stinging and burning. And the CDC study, hell, it didn't even include any actual Morgellons patients. And you've already lost them because you've gone into a whole bunch of stuff that isn't supported by the research. You can say, yeah, but 800 times Morgellons patients are more likely to kill themselves from having this disease. And people are thinking, no, that's 80,000%. How is that even possible? All you have to do is concentrate on what the science says and forget the agendas and the egos. Because I promise, if you win and you are successful in advocating for Morgellons disease, that's going to result in a better life for everybody eventually. But it's going to take you and me and everybody who cares more about getting more effective treatments and a better experience at the doctor than people who care more about being the voice of Morgellons. A lot of reason people tune me out is because I'm not serving their agenda to get to be the voice of Morgellons. What I'm here for is for every patient who is going through this, who wants to get out of it in the most responsible way. And I can't say that getting a Lyme disease doctor is going to cure you. This is a scary bacteria. Syphilis and Lyme disease are both spirochetes. And spirochetes, they're becoming antibiotic resistant. Syphilis is becoming antibiotic resistant. But there's so much controversy and so much ego behind the issue that people don't want to accept it for what it really is. Morgellons is a skin condition that's associated with a bacterial infection. Well, why don't antibiotics clear it out? Because the bacterial infection is becoming antibiotic resistant. Oh, crap, we can understand that. You got to keep it simple for people, but you have to know what you're talking about. And that's why I made a free online course instead of an online secret group where people could get in there and share more misinformation, and I'm kind of cool with that as long as I'm the dude at the top. I made an online course so everybody who wants to go out and advocate for better patient care can do that armed with the knowledge that's going to propel their efforts towards success. But it's not going to happen if you don't know. Ask yourself, what is Morgellons? Write down your answer. If it's more than one sentence, you need to go take that course. Morgellons.teachable.com. What do you guys think? Let me know. We got some rough weather coming up for the next few days. But, hang in there. Stick with it. We are making progress.